lots of clients have asked me, how often should I work out? Is it 2 days a week, 3 days a week, 4, maybe 5 times in a day? But seriously, how many times a week should you work out? Let's find out. Hey there, Coach Tyler here, and in this video, I'm gonna share with you how often you should be working out. And this is actually a really important question because doing too little and doing too much both have negative effects for your fitness goals. So, don't worry, I'll give you all the ins and outs of having a successful fitness routine. So, let's dive in right now. Okay, the first thing I wanna talk about is working out too little. And this is probably the #1 problem with most people. Now, some people do work out too much, and we'll talk about that in a sec, but working out too little is a huge problem. Your body needs to go through some amount of stress. Your muscles need that work in order to maintain their strength and their size, which also maintains your metabolism. What I've personally found in working with clients for many years is that at minimum, everyone should be exercising at least 2 days per week. Now, while I say that's a good minimum, especially if you're not doing any exercise right now, I would encourage you to try and work towards that 3 days per week quite a bit sooner. The reason why I say this is because since I've worked with so many clients in the past, I've worked with people who work with me consistently 2 days a week for a year, and people who worked with me 3 days a week consistently for a year. And the difference between adding that one extra day is not 50% better results, it's like 200% better results. And I believe the reason why is because you're basically exercising about half of the days of the week when you go to 3 days a week. So, if you're not working out at least 2 days a week right now, get started with that. And then let's try to push you up to 3 as soon as we can and stay consistent with that because that's where I believe you start seeing really amazing results. Okay, the next thing I wanna touch on is working out too much. Now, some of you watching maybe have a great exercise routine and you're getting after it and you're running miles and you're hitting the gym and you're doing all this stuff and nothing seems to happen for you. Well, the reason why is because recovery is where you actually get results. Let me explain. If you're gonna do a workout, and let's pretend that workout has some squats in it, and you're working your legs out real hard, and then you wake up the next day and you're a little bit sore, well, that soreness is telling your body that your muscles tore down a little bit and they're sore because they're trying to repair. Now, if they tore down and that next day you do the same workout again, do you think those muscles are gonna be able to repair? Or do you think they're gonna tear a little bit more? And if you keep doing that over and over again, what happens? You keep tearing and tearing and tearing and tearing and tearing until what? Ooh, yep, you guessed it, an injury eventually happens. So working out too much is just as much of an issue as working out too little. Now, this really depends on your recovery. Are you stretching? Are you eating lots of protein? Are you getting a good night's sleep? Those things are going to really determine how many workouts you can get done in a week. My recommendation is if you're working out more than 5 days per week, you probably want to refine your workout itself because there's no reason you need to do that much exercise in order to get results. After all, working out is not about looking pretty in the mirror, it's about moving your body well in real life. It's about feeling good in your body. So do the least amount of exercise you can to go out there and experience life to its fullest. And 5 days a week is plenty. If you're doing more than that and you're still not seeing results, well, then you might be in a plateau. And we're gonna talk about that next. All right, the next thing I do wanna talk about is the dreaded plateau. Now, if you've ever been on an exercise program, you've probably hit this before in your life, where things were going well, you're seeing great results, you're feeling stronger, maybe you're looking a little better, right? And then all of a sudden, nothing. And you're just flat for a week, a month, maybe several months, and you can't seem to make progress. Well, I'm here to tell you that when you hit a plateau, it's time to do something different. If you just do the same thing every single day during your week, then eventually your body is going to get used to those movements. And when it does get used to those movements, you're not going to see progress as fast. So let's pretend you're doing squats for your lower body. And you do them 3 days a week, and eventually you're getting to this point where squats are feeling great, they're feeling really easy, but you're not seeing results. A week goes by, 2 weeks goes by, you're thinking, maybe I need to do more squats or whatever it may be to get me better results. Well, the truth is what you need to do is change things up. So instead of squat on 2 legs, try doing a split squat or a lunge or a single leg squat or adding some weight or resistance to that squat. The point is you have to do something different to stimulate that need for your body to adapt and change. So if you've ever hit a plateau, don't keep doing the same thing. Switch it up, do something completely different, and watch the results start back up. Okay, we've talked about working out too little, working out too much, and plateaus. Now the next thing I wanna focus on is injuries. So, if you're working out too much, if you're doing the same thing too much, if you're doing too much volume, too many repetitions, too much time spent on the same thing, guess what can happen? Well, you can get an injury. This can happen because you have bad form, and what you need to do is clean up your form so that you're not causing your body damage, or this can happen because you have consistent repetitive use in motion. Now, how do you prevent injuries in exercise? One, make sure you do a lot of variety of different exercises. So don't just stay in one plane of motion doing push-ups or squats or whatever. Mix it up. Allow your body to learn how to move through different ranges of motions, different movement patterns, because it's really healthy for your body to learn how to move in different ways. Next, make sure you do every exercise with perfect form. I cannot stress this enough. Everybody wants to get results fast, so what do? They work on intensity first, and then they worry about form second. Plus, to be honest, most trainers suck at teaching really good form. That's just the truth. What we focus on is form first, intensity second. So take your time when you're exercising. Make sure you understand the key points of alignment that need to happen on every single movement in order to make sure that you're moving properly so that you don't get injured. If you're doing good form and if you're varying your exercises, then there's no reason you should get injured, even if you're working out 5 days a week. So take it slow, form first, intensity second, avoid those injuries. Okay, now that we've talked about exercise frequency, things like working out too little, working out too much, hitting plateaus or getting injured, what to do there, I'm gonna give you something really simple, right? Sometimes the easiest thing to do is just do something simple consistently, okay? So if you're still wondering how much you should exercise or how you should exercise, try this 3 days per week. It's going to be 3 simple exercises that cover your entire body that you can use just 3 days per week to start seeing results. Those exercises are squats, push-ups, and reverse crunches. Now, these are intermediate exercises, so I'm gonna show you both beginner and advanced variations of each and walk you through how to do each one with perfect form. I'll see you there in a sec. Okay, if you like the simplicity of this workout, just 3 days a week, simple exercises that you can do from the comfort of your own home, then you'll love the workouts that we send to our members every single week. They're customized to your individual skill level, and if you want to try them for free, then all you have to do is click the link below, take our assessment, and you can give them a shot. I promise you'll love it, and it'll really help you customize exactly what you should be doing, as well as the amount of days per week that you should be exercising. All right, click that link, and we'll see you there. This first exercise is a squat. We call it a sit to stand though, because we like to do it in front of a chair to make sure that beginners feel comfortable and we know how much range of motion you're doing. So, as you're doing this exercise, it's really important to have perfect form. To start, you're gonna wanna inhale as you go down and exhale as you come up. From there, don't let your knees cave in. Sometimes people's knees go towards each other. What you want to do is look down at your toes and make sure that your thigh bone is going the same direction as your toes. That's going to keep your knees safe. And finally, keep your chest up and your back flat as you go down and up. It's really important that we don't round our back as we're practicing the squat motion. Now, if this normal sit to stand is too difficult for you, you can try a supported sit to stand like this. Now in this variation, you just use your hands for support, which is gonna allow you to do this a little bit easier. It's a great beginner variation, just take your time and move slow. Now, if those sit to stands were too easy, then you can do a variation called sit to hops. A sit to hop is the same thing, only a little bit faster, and you give it a nice hop at the top. That's gonna work your legs more, it's gonna work your calves more, and it's gonna work your heart more, which is going to boost your metabolism more. So pick your variation, make sure you do it with perfect form, and let's go talk about the push-up next. All right, the next exercise is called the push-up. Everybody knows what a push-up is. It's a great exercise to work your core, your upper body, and you even work your legs at the same time. So here's how to do the push-up with perfect form. First, start in a plank position and make sure to squeeze your glutes and your core. You don't want your butt to stick up in the air with your back sagging, or you don't want your hips to sag towards the ground with your back sagging. In either one of these instances, you put pressure on your lower back instead of your core. So squeeze your glutes, tuck your pelvis, and keep your core and glutes tight the entire time. Next, place your hands on the ground and grip the ground with your fingers incredibly tight. You want to activate your wrists to strengthen your wrists while you do the push-up. Now, as you go down and up, it's also important not to let your elbows flare out really wide like this. Try to keep your elbows a little bit closer to your sides, as that will protect your shoulder. Finally, you can inhale as you go down and exhale as you come up. Now, if the normal push-up is too difficult for you, then you could try kneeling push-ups, where you're doing push-ups on your knees. Just take your time and move slow so that you know you're doing it with perfect form. And if a normal push-up is too easy, then you can do explosive push-ups like this. This is going to put a lot more work on your muscles and your heart, which is going to elevate your metabolism at the same time. So, pick your push-up variation, make sure you know how to do it with perfect form, and let's go over reverse crunches last. The final exercise we're gonna cover is called the reverse crunch. This is a great core exercise and really great for people who need to strengthen their cores so they can have better posture, or perhaps even relieve some aches and pains in their lower back. So to start, lie down on your back and squeeze your core muscles by pressing your belly out. This is kind of a strange motion, so the best way I've always used to describe it is cough and hold that cough. That's gonna keep your core incredibly tight, and it's gonna push your lower back into the ground. From there, bend your knees, squeeze your legs together, and as you descend your heels to the ground, inhale, and as you bring your knees back up to your chest, exhale. Never let that lower back come off the ground, okay? That is the sign that you're doing too much and that you're doing too difficult of a variation. Now, if the reverse crunch is too difficult for you and you can't keep that lower back on the ground as you bring your legs down, you can do an even tighter reverse crunch where you bend your knees all the way, as much as you possibly can, and you shorten the range of motion. Just make sure you still push that lower back into the ground so that you protect your back and strengthen your core. Now, if the reverse crunches are too easy, you can do slightly bent leg raises. And again, push that lower back into the ground the entire time and take it slow and controlled at first before you start speeding it up. Okay, now that you know those 3 exercises, how do you put it together into a simple workout? Well, 3 days a week, come ready and start a timer and do 30 seconds of work, followed by 15 seconds of rest on squats, push-ups, and reverse crunches. Do that for 5 rounds, so it'll only take you 10-15 minutes, and come back and do that again 3 days a week. As the exercises get easier, you can either extend the amount of time you're doing, or you can choose a harder variation. But as you can see, keeping it incredibly simple is an amazing way to get fantastic results, so that you know how many days a week you should be exercising, and you can go out there and experience the world with the new strength and the new body that you've had with just the minimal dose of exercise. Okay, there you have it. How many days a week you should work out, the simple workout, how to avoid injuries, how to get through plateaus. If you guys like this, then you'll absolutely love the next video we have for you, which is a cool down routine that you can do after this simple workout. So go ahead and check that out right here, and I'll see you in the next video.